Liverpool sit top of two tables in two different leagues, and yet all us fans are stressed beyond measure. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special episode of Kicks and Curbs. I thought that when I record a Liverpool special episode, it would be to celebrate the signing of the 3 contracts, but alas, that is not the case. Usually, I have a script prepared for an episode like this, and I do have something, but somewhere in this, it might just turn into just a rant. Okay, so just bear with me because I am hella stressed right now. We are halfway through the season, and the first game week of 2025 is upon us. As a fan, I saw my team. The last game of 2024 that we played, it was an away game at West Ham. We battered them 5-0. We had 5 different goal scorers in that game. In 2024, I saw my team beat the champions of Germany, the champions of Spain, champions of England, without conceding a single goal. Top of the Champions League, 6 out of 6 wins, 1 goal conceded in all 6 matches. Top of the Premier League, 1 game in hand, 6-point advantage over the second team right now. I should be celebrating. This is my time to I cannot not be obnoxious about of course Liverpool are going to win or quadruple on, but I can start to believe that okay, maybe we win something more than just the Carabao Cup or an FA Cup or something. Maybe we get the big ones. Maybe we get the Premier League or the Champions League. Both. I don't know. Maybe. This is the time that I should be laughing at both the Manchester teams. What is happening with them? But here I am, sitting here right now, stressing out about what is going on with the contracts of Virgil van Dijk, Mohamed Salah, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. It is the Manchester United fans are less worried about their team playing us than Liverpool fans are right now about all these contracts. At the start of the season, we knew that all these 3 contracts were running into their last year, and we were hoping for kind of a seamless transition from the Klopp era to the Arne Slot era. We didn't know what to expect. We were hoping what it's going to be like, and so I can maybe forgive the club for not renewing the contracts, because I can understand maybe the players were also hesitant. They would want to see Trent entering his peak years. He wanted to see if we are going to be competitive, and Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah reaching towards the ends of their careers. I can understand why they would not want to be tied down to a club that is not competitive, and maybe the club thought that okay, you have done enough for us where you've earned the right to leave here as a legend. Or to be very honest, now that I'm saying it out loud, I don't know. Just tie them down. If we are not competitive and they want to leave, they won't leave for free at least. So they should have just tied them down. These contracts should have been tied down before Jurgen Klopp announced that he was leaving the club. Maybe that is why Jurgen Klopp left the club. I honestly do not know. But start of the season, we were hoping that we would be somewhere. And I think it's fair to say that within 3-4 months, we could see that this was going to be something special. And during that time, I think Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk at least made it very clear that they want to stay. And Trent was more the contract will not play out in public, this, that. He didn't out and out say that, yeah, of course I want to stay here, but okay, sure. There were reports that he was giving Liverpool a priority in the contract negotiations. I was like, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, good. We have seen what this manager is capable of. We've seen his in-game management, we've seen his man management, the way he rotates the squad, the way he's brought an element of control. We see his halftime tweaks. We've seen he is capable of winning us matches. He is able to get the best out of players. Not only that, he has redefined players that maybe under Klopp's system were not giving the kind of output that they are giving now. Gravenberch has literally been redefined. You look at the development in Curtis Jones, even Kostas Tsimikas. Harvey Elliott we've barely seen playing this year, but like he's improving. Look at Luis Diaz, look at Cody Gakpo. Under this manager, they look like different players. They're able to contribute more to the success, to our wins. And so like what he's doing is phenomenal, beyond what any Liverpool fan going into the season expected of where we are going to be. None of that. So what is the reason that the club is not tying these people down? Because we can see all of their contributions. Okay, now with Virgil, of course, he's the wall, he's the just pockets strikers, controls the ball, good header, goals also scored, and everything. We know what Virgil van Dijk is capable of. Trent has been a better defender this year. I think we have seen the leaps and bounds of improvement in the way he defends now as compared to where in previous seasons when his focus and his contribution was more towards attacking. And so maybe there's a reason, that may be the reason why we've only seen, I would say, 4 assists in the Premier League for Trent. Maybe less, but no, 4 I think. But yeah, I would say that Trent still is kind of like a game changer. If you want examples of how brilliant he has been, the equalizer against Arsenal that got us 1 point at the Emirates, the equalizer against Newcastle that got us 2-2, and then the third goal which could have won us the match if Kelleher didn't make that mistake. But okay, like his contribution may have been lesser than what it had been in the previous seasons, but you cannot deny that he comes in clutch when the team really, really needs it. And what can I say more about Mohamed Salah that has not been said already? Like, the dude is breaking records left, right and center. First player in Premier League history to have 30 goal contributions before Christmas. Like, he is literally putting in numbers that are absolutely mind-boggling right now. So I find it hard to believe that how has the club left these contracts till so late. They can literally sign a pre-contract with other clubs. Liverpool is lucky that not all 3 of them are using this as a leverage to get as much out of the club. Or maybe they are. Again, the problem is there is no communication from the club side. Arne Slot is not going to answer those questions. He's made that very clear because he has been consistently asked those questions and he has said that I am not going to play it out. But we need something. The best thing you can give us is those signatures. Just get them done. But why? How are we in this situation? What do these people who have been so clutch for us, who have been such an important part in our success till now, and who have been so crucial in getting Liverpool to the position that we are in currently, how are these people still in media saying that there is we are not close to an agreement. I don't even know who to blame. Is it FSG who are cheaping out? Is it Edwards and Hughes who are a bit skeptical of, let's say, giving something to Mo and Virgil because of their ages? There were reports that Mo and Virgil was almost done, and then yesterday Mo Salah is like, yeah, we're not, as of right now, this is my last season, we're not close to a contract. Trent's demands were future captaincy and minimum 3-year deal. Minimum 3-year? For a 26-year-old, you cannot be offering the same terms to a player who's 32 and a player who's 26. Like, what are you talking about? So, I don't know. And again, these are just rumors, okay? We don't know. We do not know what is happening. And again, with Mo Salah, it could just be his way of, putting the pressure on the club. But the fact of the matter is that these contracts should have been sorted out by now. They should have been. There should have been at least 2 out of 3. At least the 2 who want to stay. Just ask them, what do you want? And then just be like, okay, we hear what you want and this is what we're willing to offer. And then just start from there. How long can negotiations take when these players have said in as early as September, October that they want to stay at the club? How long can it possibly take for you to get the signatures on paper? And maybe they have. Maybe Virgil and Mo Salah have gotten. You have those signatures, but they're waiting for Trent. But whatever it is not boding well for the club to be delaying this. The fans are getting frustrated. The fans are also turning on some of these players, and especially Trent, with all the interest that he's getting from Real Madrid and agent Judas whispering in his ear or whatever. And I do not see the point. Like, I would understand Trent wanting to go to Real Madrid like 3-4 years ago. Okay, I would see that. Current scenario, the information that we like, looking at the positions that we are at right now, I would say there is as good a chance that Liverpool could go on and win the Champions League as Real. I would give us more chances of winning the Champions League, but could be my bias. But I'm saying that we are there. We're doing good. We're not stumbling. We're not. And again, this is the time that Liverpool fans should be talking about, okay, what reinforcements are we going to bring? Because I know festive fixtures and everything, we're playing like, what, there were so many games that are like 9 or 10 games in a span of like 45 days or something like that. But like, we were going to play a hell of a lot of games. And everybody was like, oh yeah, festive fixtures, we'll have to see how everybody does and everything. I think it gets worse from now, because now we'll be getting into Champions League knockouts. The FA Cup will be starting. Yeah, the Carabao Cup, okay, there are possibly only 3 games, but out of those 3, we definitely playing 2, which is the 2 semi-final legs. So it's still going to be pretty heavy in terms of like just the sheer number of matches that we will be playing. So right now, what we should be asking from our club is, who are you bringing? Is Zubimendi in play? Is he coming? If not, then are we getting somebody for our defensive setup? Are we getting another striker? Like, those are the questions that we should be asking. But what we are the most worried about is how our 3 best players right now are out of a contract and there is no concrete resolution for it. And it is bonkers to me. Like, if Liverpool, as of right now, approaches any player to get them to come to the club, wouldn't the player be like, bro, you have three best players, and look at the way you're botching their contracts. Like, how can I can be the best of the best there is, but my best performance does not guarantee me a contract renewal. And that is bonkers to me. That is what Liverpool is showing to other potential players who can come to Liverpool anytime in the future. And then we should not be surprised if players don't want to come to Liverpool, because look at the way you're treating your best players. Like, Mo Salah is having a record-breaking season and he has to plead. He's literally come out and say, at this point, I'll sign a fucking 1-year deal, man. Just put something on the table. This is not how you would be. And I just hope, like, so many fans online are just first getting it out. They have it out for Trent. And listen, if Trent is using Real Madrid to kind of get a good deal for himself, like, listen, I understand that's his prerogative, but I mean, I don't know who is at fault. Again, it's like I said, I do not know who to blame. Is it FSG? Is it the sporting directors? Or is it the players who are being too greedy? I do not know. I literally do not know. And that is the case with a lot of fans of Liverpool. And I hope that we get a resolution soon enough on this, because we only have this 1 month. Like, I do not think Liverpool is capable of doing multitasking. Yeah, like, we cannot be working on all of these 3 contracts and negotiating deals for reinforcement that we might be planning to bring in. Like, I don't think we are capable of that. So I think the only contract that we have renewed as of right now in this entire season is Jarell Kwanzaa. That's it. They're in talks with Ibu. They're in talks with all the big 3. They are also, I think, they will be offering they will enter into contract talks with Luis Diaz. But just prioritize. Like, how are we in this situation? I will not understand. But I hope and pray to God that we are able to find a solution and a resolution to this. Like, just at the end of the day, I want just an answer. I know Mo wants to stay. We all know Mo wants to stay. So I want just out and out, I want a resolution. Is it that the club doesn't want him to stay? Is it that the club thinks he's being too greedy? Like, what is it? I want those explanations for all 3 of them. Like, just give us some closure. And whatever is the situation with them, please tell me that Liverpool has a plan to have you need to have a succession plan for all these 3 key players that you are apparently willing to let go of. Again, this is, you remember when after the Southampton game and Mo Salah came to the mix zone and made a statement about the contracts, and Jamie Carragher was like, oh my god, this thing, like, Mo Salah, it was so incredibly selfish of him to be doing this before such a big match, this, that. Another big match coming up. It's the Northwest Derby. I know Manchester United has been shit, but, like, you never know with the derby. So yeah, another big match. And again, this is what it is. We're talking of all the conversation about Liverpool right now is the Trent situation and the Madrid bid. Even Arne Slot's press conference was just about transfers and contracts. It is a big game. It's the fucking derby, man. Come on. It's 2 rivals. Like, I just need answers. At the end of the day, just give me answers. The best thing would be to sign all 3, but, like, just tell me. Just tell me. Just tell the players, tell the fans. Because if this is indeed the last season for Virgil and for Mo, like, we want to know. We want to be able to say goodbye to them, no matter how much we hate that Liverpool might actually let all three of them go, walk out on free. But and it's not just about the money we can make off of them, but like when they have a clear intention of wanting to stay, if there is still a scenario where we just don't renew them and they get to leave, we need to be prepared. It's like when Jurgen announced that he was leaving, we were prepared for it. We still cried, and we will for Mo and Virgil as well. But just give us that clarity. We need to prepare ourselves, and we need to also prepare ourselves for the next season, because I can guarantee you, if all three of them leave, it is not going to be easy to replace them. And even if you get the best of the best players, they are going to take some time, first get integrated into the team, and second, to kind of produce those kinds of performances. And also, again, if Liverpool has not understood that these are literally world-class players, there are going to be very few people who are a like-to-like replacements for any of these three players. Like, I mean, maybe they will find it out the hard way, even though it is right there in front of our eyes. But whatever it is, just take a week, but give us a resolution. Either give us all three, or just tell us your stance. Because for 2 out of the 3, we know what the players' stance is. Mo and Virgil want to stay. Trent is undecided. So I want to know what the club's stance is. Like, I want to know who to blame. And all the Liverpool journalists who have been saying about Mo and Virgil have already signed, I literally do not know. Because Sergio Aguero has said that Liverpool and Mo Salah have signed a contract. I don't know who to believe. So I need to hear it from the horse's mouth. I need to hear it from Trent, and I need to hear it from Liverpool Football Club. What are you planning? And whatever it is, just give it to us straight. And just give it to those players straight. Like, they would want to say goodbye to the club in a proper way, and we would want to say goodbye to these legends of our club the proper way. Either way, just let us know, so that what we can, as fans, we can stop worrying about this. So once we know, so we can stop worrying about this, and we can just get on with the season and enjoy the show that these lads are going to put on, because Liverpool are again in a very good situation right now, and hopefully we'll be able to pick up some good haul of silverware this season. Oh man, I am already so emotionally spent from just following this entire saga. I don't have a lot of energy, but I'll just end the episode by saying this, that I'm excited for this Manchester United match. It's at Anfield. I think that the first match that we played against Manchester United, of course it was away, but it was also the third game of Arne Slot's tenure as a Liverpool manager. So I was a little bit scared and skeptical of what is going to happen in that match, and I think that right now we are in a much better position in the sense that we understand what, like, the team understands what Slot wants them to do on the pitch. So I think that this game, I feel like it's going to be higher scoring. First, we have the home advantage. Second, we have Dominic Szoboszlai, who missed the last game, very well rested, and just the entire team. I think we've had 6 days of rest since that West Ham game. We also have Ibu Konate and Conor Bradley come back. The one slight thing that I'm worried about is with Joe Gomez being injured. I am worried who's going to start as the second centre back. I think that Kwanzaa has been a little bit meh this season, but I would, if Arne Slot is not thinking of making Konate, letting Konate play the entire game, which I don't think he's going to do, because we've seen like he gradually phases these players to kind of take the rust off, either like in a low stake match, but like a Carabao Cup match or something like that, or he would just sub them on for like last 15-20 minutes, kind of just gradually move them into playing. So and which is what, like, at least with Jota, when he was brought on against the in the match against Fulham, and after the match Arne Slot was like, he's not 100% there yet, so they were able to rest so that, you know, there's no relapse of the injury. So I think in that way he's good with his management, minutes management, everything. So I think that I don't think Ibou Konate plays the entire game. So I think Kwanzaa needs to start, because I know he's not been the best, but I think that he needs these moments to kind of give him that boost, you know, of confidence, which he needs. So like if every centre back is not available other than Virgil van Dijk, if Joe Gomez is not there and Ibou is just coming from an injury, and still Arne Slot is like, no, Endo, you can start as a centre back, that does not help him gain that confidence. So I think it's going to be Kwanzaa. I'm not overly worried about Kwanzaa, as long as somebody is able to pocket Amad, which I think they will. Again, tactics wise, game plan wise, I'm not worried. What I'm worried about is this outside noise and this whole entire fucking thing. So yeah, I'm predicting a win for us. I'm also expecting a clean sheet, but again, in a derby, you never know. It's not just about the form when it's a derby, it's something else. It's pure hatred for the other side. It's the rivalry that comes into play. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I'm expecting a win, expecting a little bit of a clarity on these contract situations, and hopefully we see the resolution that all Liverpool fans want to see. Yeah, we all want all three of them to stay, and we all want to win trophies. We all want that Premier League title, and I hope it happens. If you've reached till here, thank you so much for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click on the notification bell to always know when we post new content, and let us know your thoughts in the comments.